Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Chris. I get told all the time that I have the best beef jerky people have had, so I thought I would share the recipe finally. I was keeping it a secret for a while, but I'll put it out there now because I think you guys will dig it. First of all the marinades and soy sauces and stuff that you guys are used to using, keep them right in the cupboard. What we're going to use today is fresh ground pepper, kosher salt, a little bit of garlic salt, and then the magic. I don't know where you can get this from, maybe online. I get it from my local store, but I don't know if it's a regular thing, but this is Texas Bold Brisket Rub. In a perfect world, you'll keep this right in a little shaker, so I'll be going in and out for stuff like that. But what you do is you slice your beef. I like London broil, but you slice it thin. That's pretty thin. And you slice it against the grain. So you see how that looks like it'll pull apart if I tug on it? You slice it against the grain. So that's it. And then when you're done, I actually have a meat slicer, but you could do it by hand. You end up with a pile of a bunch of sliced beef. Then what I like to do is I lay it all on a pan like this. Now, I'm gonna pan the camera down so that you guys can see the next part. Could get a little weird here a second. Like that, and then we'll do this. So here's what we're working with. Okay, you got it on your pan. I'm gonna take kosher salt. You use the little opening, the holes, and then all you do is you just sprinkle a little kosher salt. You'll see the flakes go on there. They're easy to see. Just sprinkle them a little bit. Try to get them covered as evenly as you can. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera, but just sprinkled with kosher salt. Then I take and I use my pepper grinder, always fresh pepper, don't buy already ground pepper, but take your pepper grinder, then I coat them with pepper. Okay, so now they should look like this. Now, you could stop there, and I do on some of my batches, salt and pepper. But if you really want a little bit of good, you go get yourself some garlic powder, not garlic salt, garlic powder. Sprinkle the garlic powder on there a little bit too. Put some garlic powder on there like that. So now you got jerky that looks about like this. Now you got to flip them and do the exact same thing to the other side. You don't have to be real careful with whether they touch or don't touch or anything else. And I'll show you why in just a second, but flip them. I try to get them as flat as possible, but I'm not even sure that that's right. Shut up, Tessie. My dog's on high alert. She thinks somebody's gonna steal her jerky. So just like that, you flip them all over again. Do the exact same thing. A little salt. Pepper. Fresh ground pepper goes a long ways, so if you like hot jerky, you can sit and hammer it with black pepper and you'll be all set. If you just like medium jerky or just, easy eating jerky, don't use as much. And then again, we sprinkle some garlic on here. Then so here you go, you got everything covered again. And the last trick is you take this and you just do this over the whole pan. Get all that stuff soaked up. There's no reason to leave any. So right there's some garlic beef jerky that we'll throw on the smoker, and I'll show you guys that in a minute too, but we'll throw it on the smoker and go from there. But I'm gonna make the next batch a minute here. So I just throw this one in there, and I use different color bowls, so I know, blue is the garlic. So now we do the same thing, lay the next batch out. Probably fast forward this part. It's kind of boring. Now I will real quick tell you, I used to try to find the leanest meat I could find, which this is the leanest meat you can find. London broil, top round, next to a fillet. It's like the leanest beef you can get for this stuff. But I used to literally like sort through the packages and look for the ones that had the least amount of fat. And now at my house, beef jerky doesn't last long enough to even care. So I just grab the packages, slice them up. I don't try to clean the fat off too much anymore. We just do them up and waste very little because it all ends up being fine in the end. And like I said, a package of beef jerky at my house will last about a week, maybe. And actually a week's pushing it, probably 3 days. So there's no chance for the fat to even go bad. So here's round number 2, we'll say. All right, so I'm gonna show you a new trick. You got this Texas brisket rub here, okay? I'm gonna peel this open. This stuff is fantastic. What I like to do is open this and then pour it right into a shaker bottle here. So there you go. Put it in this old bottle here. Used to be bay leaves. Now it's my stuff. Gives you a nice delivery system here. So now we take this. You do nothing to this. Don't salt, don't pepper. Just shake some of this stuff on there pretty heavily. Okay. Same deal, we're gonna do the flip. And this, if you like spicy jerky, I don't know why a brisket rub is spicy, but this stuff makes some great, like medium hot. It's not too hot to eat. You can sit down and eat this, but if you don't like spicy, you're not gonna be a fan of this. So again, we flip them. Try to get them all leveled out if possible. Like I said, I don't care if they're touching too much, that's not a big deal, but try to get them all flat. Sprinkle them again with this stuff. And I'm telling you, this stuff is magic. So there you go. Now again, do the pan trick. That seems to get everything coated, mixed up pretty good. And that right there, if you're a spicy jerky fan, that's the best jerky you've ever had right there once we smoke that. So I got a big old plate full of meat left here to finish up. I won't waste your time with that, but then I'll show you again when we get to the smoker. All right, we're back here for a second. And ladies, I want to show you the best present you can ever get for your husband. Right here. This is the Camp Chef. It's effectively the WOODWIND, but you can actually get it cheaper by building it out of pieces. But this is the best grill you can get for the money, period. Runs on wood pellets, controls its own heat, sear box, everything else. So that's enough for my Camp Chef commercial here. But there you go. This is what the inside of this thing looks like. I'm not going to bore you too much with loading it up or anything. Just know that I've got a heaping pile of bacon that I'm putting on here. If you do bacon, always put it on the bottom because it drips and it'll ruin everything. So if you're going to do bacon, that's fine, but put it on the bottom rack. So like literally the black rack of the grill. And then I'll load the beef up onto the jerky trays and I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so when you fire your smoker up, this is what it looks like. Okay. You can tell the red is the spicy, and your bacon's down here if you can see that, but I break all the rules. So number one, I load the grill when it's cold, because there's nothing worse than trying to burn yourself over a hot grill. Second, I cook it low and slow, about 175 on the WOODWIND. That's pretty good temperature. That'll get you a, 2.5 hours this stuff will be done. And here we go. There it goes, fired up. So that's it. This thing will be done. We'll check in a couple hours. Oh, and don't forget, Pam is your friend. That stuff will stick like crazy. Bacon, by the way, as you can see, bacon goes on the bottom, like I said, because bacon drips. So put your bacon in the bottom. Other than that, man, you're good to go. See it in 2 hours. All right, so here we are about maybe an hour or so into it. As you can see, things are coming along nicely. Some of the bacon's starting to crisp up a little bit. Nice to come out and check it every couple hours. So, or every couple hours, every about hour or so I come out and check it. So that's it, man. See you in another hour or so. Alright, so we're into this about maybe an hour 45 at this point. And you can see it's drying out real nice. There's some of it on the top that had some fat in it that you can see is still a little wet, but it is drying out very nice. The bacon, as you can see, is just about finished. A couple of these pieces on the bottom look like they are. But one of the things you have to do is you have to test it. If you pick it up, see how it's still just a little flimsy? That shouldn't be that way. What you're looking for is a piece that when you pick it up, that one's a little flimsy too. But you want them to not bend when you pick them up. That's how you know they're done, is because you'll grab one and it won't flex. Okay? So this is actually too wet, but you can see it's starting to dry out to the point that it's holding its rigidity. So I'm going to let this sit yet for a little bit and come check it again in another half hour or so. We're probably getting pretty close to done. Alright, so we are at the point that I'm removing this from the grill. You can see a couple of them are still a little shiny here and there, but for the most part, they're dried out. They're going to continue to harden up a little bit once you pull them. So that's another reason that I typically do that. But we should be getting pretty, yeah, we're definitely getting more rigid. As the guy who cooks this stuff, you always get to taste it. So yeah, that's about as good as it gets. So hang on here. It won't let me do that, but anyway, we are at the point now that, like I said, I'm gonna take this off the grill. No marinade, no nonsense, just the best jerky you've ever had. So pretty much throw everything you've been told out the window and try this. I promise you, you will never do it the other way again. So good luck, enjoy, talk to you soon. Thanks again. All right, so we're all done with the jerky here. I thought I would show you guys the last bit here. You know, when you bring it in and it sits for a minute, it dries out nicely. So you don't get that, you know, that you saw the oily stuff in the video, that goes away, it dries out. Now, I wanted to show you guys here, let's grab a piece of this. When it's done, it should be nice and crisp like this. You can see this one's good. Now watch this, this is my favorite part. You can literally break this apart with your hands. It snaps, it's crunchy on the outside, but because you cut it against the grain, it just rips apart. So always make sure that you cut your jerky against the grain of the meat. But it's fantastic. Hot, spicy, awesome. The other one's garlicky. Went a little heavy on the pepper, so it's a little spicy too, but it's awesome. So check it out. You'll never marinate beef jerky ever again. Right from the store to the grill. Enjoy.